This channel is supported by TrueFire. TrueFire is an online library of lessons from some of my favourite players. There's thousands of lessons on there. You can use the promo code JNC40 to get 40% off of any of their courses. Hey, I did a video on this with the Axe Effects and, well, for the Fractal guys, and I got asked if I could maybe try and do something similar for Helix. The inspiration for this video was basically Eric Steckel, because he uses a Mesa Barber signature amplifier, and I kind of did a little bit of research, and the Mesa Barber amps are sort of Soldano SLO based, somewhat like sort of modded from that as a base, as many amps are, like the PV5150 and the Mesa Boogie dual rectifier from what I'm aware of. So that's basically the starting point here, and I wanted to show you this preset I was using in the intro. So to start off with the clean, you can jump into the Gumroad folder if you want to try this preset without going through all this gubbins, but I'll show you all the settings here just in case you're not the type of guy who wants to buy a preset, which is totally fine. So first of all, we're using the solo lead clean here, and settings, as you see, this is for the just the clean. You'll notice I haven't got any reverb in here. This is to get a bit more of a modern vibe. I think Eric Steckel doesn't use reverb in general. We've got the drive at 5, bass at 5.3, mids at 4, treble at 5.6, the presence up at 5.4, channel volume at 5.9, the master at 7, so we get a little bit of breakup from that. Everything else is stock. I'm using, for the cab, 4x12 Cali V30, which is my favourite cab on here, position 3.9 with the 67 condenser, and a high cut here down to 8 kHz. We're leaving that a bit higher than usual so that we've got plenty of sizzle. And then also I've added this other, same cab, but the 906 dynamic. Shout out to Johnny Welk for suggesting that as an all-round kind of good guy microphone. Position at 2.8, level at 0.3 with no high cut on this part. So that's kind of giving us a nice... on some Soldano amplifiers you have like a deep control or resonance, I can't remember exactly what they call it, but to emulate that I've got the low high shelf here at kind of plus 10.5 dB at about 150 Hz. So this is like the trouser moving frequencies. You can take that in or out as you desire, as an actress said to a bishop. And then got a dual delay with my normal settings, but the mix is a bit higher than usual because we don't have any reverb. So got that delay just to annoy some of you. Right, so then snapshot 1 is where we get into some of the drive stuff, and you'll see nothing really changes. I've taken out that EQ so that it kind of is a little bit tighter, but we jump to the solo lead OD head, which is the lead channel of the amplifier. See, I've got the gain at 6, the bass at 10, the mids at 6.3, the treble at 6.8, the presence lowered to 1.9, and the master up at 7.8. Now you can experiment with this from here, but it looks extreme. The settings are kind of wild, but they were kind of inspired by Eric Steckel. I think his might even be a bit more intense than this, but... You see, basically, as we crank that master, we get even more of the kind of saturation, juicy stuff. If we want it to be a bit tighter, we just lower that. So where did I have it? By default, I had it at kind of 7.8, so not... So you can hear, obviously, what we're going for here is some pretty saturated, bonkers stuff. Eric Steckel himself calls it blues metal. I kind of think of it as like that, really taking off where Gary Moore kind of would have been. You know, I think he played a Soldano for a bit, but these kind of crazy bonkers saturated tones. Then here we go to our lead, and this is where we actually just take the drive all the way up to 10. If we could go to 11 we would, but we can't. So notice as well, we're not using any drive pedals. Someone like Eric Steckel is getting it all from the amp. This should clean up a bit. It's got all of the sizzle, all of the gain, all of the everything. We could even crank this master further if we want to just, I don't know, lose the gear. If I wanted it to clean up a bit more, would I do this? And it'll be a bit tighter as well, but like a dual rectifier, the drive, there's still a lot of drive even when you take it down. what happens as you engage more drive is that it kind of gets more chewy and more sustaining. But even like the whole range of the drive pod to me seems pretty usable. Kind of bonkers what you can do with that. So that's yeah, just what I wanted to make a quick kind of video about. If you're looking for that kind of super saturated but touch responsive kind of chewy sustaining thing that I've kind of noticed coming from basically every Eric Steckel video, this is somewhat getting close to that, I feel like, with the Helix stuff. In the Fractal world, I also changed the tubes because the Soldano stuff is built with 6L6 tubes, I believe, whereas the Metzababa stuff switches those out for EL34s. We can't do that in Helix Native, but I feel like the general character is kind of there anyway. So give that a try. I know those settings look insane, but they kind of they kind of work, although they shouldn't. For live use, I probably wouldn't be doing it quite as bonkers as this, but it seems to be working for Eric Steckel. So yeah, maybe that's a starting point. Are you probably going to want a gate on with this sort of stuff? And Eric also uses a gate, but hopefully you got something out of that. If that's been something you were looking for, it was a request. You know, I got asked, could you do that with the Helix? I think was it by Lauren? I don't know, but if it was, I hope that was somewhat useful. I'll catch you in another video soon, and cheers for stopping by.